everyone, I'm Bianca Valerio and welcome to a wonderful episode. You know what? I'm not feeling really good today. I'm just so I really wanted to do this episode because, I know that May was Mental Awareness Month or something like that. And it's sad that it only happens in 1 month when every day there are people who are committing suicide. There are people who are being bullied. There are people who are spiraling into depression. And people just feel more alone than ever when cell phones and social media is supposed to connect us. It's even isolating us even so much more. And so I really wanted to do an episode that wanted to help address this. So if you guys didn't know, my brother passed away last year, and I spiraled into a really deep depression, and I just ate at my feelings. And in 1 year I gained over 20 pounds, and I even have a difficulty talking about it. Even just taping for this now, I'm so conscious. Here's the thing that you should know. When I'm working on stage, it's a job. It's almost because I've been hosting events for so long, it becomes automatic that I'm like a different person. It's like an alter ego. It's kind of like when Beyonce says Sasha Fierce comes out to play. It's kind of like that. I think a lot of us have our own alter ego. This is the person that puts their best foot forward, that they seem to always have it together. That's the Bianca Valerio that many of you know, right? But when I don't have makeup, when I'm not wearing my ball gowns, I am just as normal as everybody else. And when I mean normal, no, we may not live the same lives, but I have problems too. I feel things too. And I go through things just like you. And I wanted to do a special episode that wasn't just about beauty or food, or I wanted to discuss depression. And I wanted to discuss how can we heal that? No, I don't know what clinical depression is like. I don't know. So this episode is simply knowing that everybody has experienced depression and sadness and despair at some point in their life. So whether it be clinical or something that's, I don't know what the word is, basic or just traditional, this is for you. I'm trying to fix my hair because I'm trying to figure out, I need to look nice because people are going to judge. What are they going to say? I need to look presentable. I can't seem to get my hair to follow in place. And really these stupid things just because you're watching me right now. And it's strange. I don't care, but because I'm a trained professional to have to care, that gives me anxiety. Something so simple like that, right? And a lot of people like to address sickness as a physical thing, a physiological thing, when a lot of sickness really, it also has a lot to do with here and here, right? So, but nobody ever really talks about it because people will say things like, oh my God, just suck it up. It's like, you think you have problems? I have bigger problems. It's not a competition though, because every single person goes through life, through problems, through joy in different ways, because we all have different experiences. So the way we react to experiences is purely based on our own level of maturity, our own level of consciousness. So today, fuck it. I can't seem to get my hair to fall into place, just the way my life last year was just in shambles and I couldn't seem to put it all into place. I guess it's just me telling you guys that I don't always have it together, and I don't think anybody really does. What you see on social media is the highlights, the demo reel, the cover page, the filter. But really though, for me, I look at social media as like an online resume. And what is your resume? Your best foot forward. I do it for work. If I had the choice, I wouldn't have social media because Who cares? I don't need to keep up with showing you guys that my life is amazing, because if you guys are quite happy with your life, then it shouldn't matter. But anyway, so 3 years ago, there's this place in Turkey. It's a place called Bergama. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's actually the first and largest ancient hospital in the world. And visiting this place, even if it looked quite barren, because a lot of these places are ancient ruins, it brought so much to me. It awakened something in me. And I really hope that you guys enjoy this episode and you guys get to see that healing happens in so many ways and in forms that you never really expected, and often that we as a very modern, forward-thinking generation have taken for granted. So this is Asklepion. The oldest ancient hospital in the world is here in Asklepion, and it's actually just right across Pergamon. And the interesting thing about it is you would think that was all these surgery tables and all these types of medicines, when in fact everything was all natural. And they believe that once you start healing the mind first, the rest of the body follows. So I'm going to show you guys what exactly that means. So apparently these are where the patients would sleep for sleeping therapy. And while they were sleeping, you know how they say you whisper sweet nothings into their ear when they're sleeping? Well, the doctors would do that, and when they would tell them stories. It didn't really matter what story that was. And then the moment that they woke up, the doctors or the priest would call them and say, I saw that the God had told me about blah 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 blah, saying exactly what was in their dream. So of course the patient's gonna be like, oh my God, how did you know that? That's amazing. So the God's told you I'm gonna feel better? And so the doctor is saying, yes, you will be healed. So with positive reinforcement, they believed they were healed, and that they were. So continuing with the sleep therapy, this time this canal that would lead all the way, or rather the tunnel that would lead all the way up to the theater. Now you can see these holes right at the top. Apparently even the doctors or the priests would still keep whispering sweet nothings or words of encouragement to all the patients that walked here. So I really love that this whole process is all natural. It's homeopathic, if that's what you call it. But then again, those days there was really no choice, right? They had to find ways in order to really heal the patients. So they were saying that when you heal the mind, halfway through the battle is done and the body will follow. Speaking of follow, let's follow the rest of the group. So we've reached the end of the tunnel, and here you are thinking that there's a leak, but not exactly, because this stream of water is actually meant to be. Now when you think about it, when you hear the sound of water, isn't it very therapeutic? Well, then again, it also makes you want to pee. So whichever is your choice, right? So our tour guide was saying that there are 3 things that make a man happy. It's the sound of water, the sound of a woman's voice, and the sound of money. Although that is highly debatable, I'm sure we can all agree that water therapy, the sound of it, truly is healing. So this is called a sacred fountain. So our tour guide was saying that you can even drink the water. And of course, as they say, water is, wow, it's so cold. I don't think you need a doctor to be able to tell you that water truly is the healing liquid of life. Ah, refreshing. Whoa, okay. Oh, hi, okay.
So if you think about it, when you hear people sing, when you hear them perform, at least not me singing, it's such a great form of therapy. Music is therapy. So here, this is where they had another form of treatment, musical therapy. So apart from the performances that they would see, a lot of the people who were survivors from this facility would come here as well and share their stories of survival. And if you've ever been sick, or let's say you've ever been hurt by anything, sometimes no matter how many words of encouragement you have, it's just never enough unless you hear it from someone who's been through it themselves. And here, that is what they had. They had like a communal thing where it was like a support group of people who survived and thrived and sang and danced. It was amazing. Yeah.
You know, when I have my heart broken, there's nothing like good old sleep to help you, as they say, sleep it off, right? It really is true. Even for your body, that's when the resting period is when all your skincare is really seeping in that moisture. It's when all those nutrients from the food that you just ate, or all the fats that you ate, it's when it's gonna settle. Guys, I'm making this shit up, but I'm assuming that that's what happens when you sleep. But basically, the point is, sleep really is so important. I mean, when you're so tired, you become so moody, you become so bitchy, you become forgetful, and you become just so tired, and it's even bad for your health. So what more here? And I love what Galen said, that if you can heal this, the rest of your body will follow. Because whatever is manifesting inside, this is like your motherboard. This is your iOS, your Android. And your body is like the computer. A computer is nothing if it doesn't have this and it doesn't have this, all working simultaneously. Okay, so you must be thinking, Bianca, how the fuck did you get over this depression? Well, when it came to the bullying, in relation to what Galen has actually offered of what he thinks is ways to heal, let's start off with, the sleeping. Of course, I took a lot of time alone. I wanted to detach myself from the people who actually hurt me. And because of it, I found comfort in myself, you know? So whether I was asleep or whatnot, but I found solace in my bed, found solace in my home, right? And then we move on to positive reinforcement or sound therapy, whether it be the sound of a car, the sound of rain just falling. I love the sound of rain. On a cloudy day, it is very soothing, it is very healing. Or sometimes when you're by the beach. Well, I'm not really a beach person, but sometimes, you know, when you're by the water and when you hear the water, there's something so soothing in that, very therapeutic. Why do you think there are brands of toys that can help babies sleep? There are just certain sounds that really soothe us, right? But personally for me, personal and positive reinforcement, I didn't really have friends growing up. I spent a lot of time alone, whether that was forced or not forced. But I didn't really have friends. But I sought a lot of comfort in self-help books. And these self-help books are really the ones that were like mentors to me. They're the ones that consoled me. And that for me was the positive reinforcement. I may have never met these authors and they're not talking to me, but their words did something for me. It made me want to live another day. And that's why it was an ultimate dream of mine to write my own self-help book, which is my book. And no, I'm not promoting. In fact, I donated all my proceeds to charity. But that was my way of giving back, because it's like, if self-help books of people, motivational speakers help save my life, I want to hopefully be able to do that for other people. And last but not the least, performance arts. You know, a lot of people think I really wanted to be a model when I was growing up. That's actually not true at all. Or I wanted to be a host, which is even more not true. I was bullied for so many years growing up. and I tried committing suicide also just as many times, obviously to no success, by the blessing of God. And I got into modeling, I guess because I was one of the taller girls back then, and so on and so forth. But the real reason why I actually really liked being on stage, and I liked being in front of the camera. It's really more on stage versus the camera, because I would imagine that all my bullies, all my abusers would be in the audience, and I'm on stage, and they're so far away from me, and I'm there by myself, and no one can hurt me anymore. So it's not even because I'm the star and the light is shining on me and I'm better than them. No, it is really just a visualization that either they're behind the camera and there's that border between me and them, and that there's the stage and the audience and they're there far away from me. That is honestly why I embraced modeling and I embraced hosting. So performance arts, I truly believe that there's just this person in you that breaks free when you feel like people are watching you and they can't come near you to hurt you, right? So it doesn't mean that they will hurt you physically, but see, it's that thing that you're saying in your head. They can't hurt you because they're there. So I established it here and it manifested in my surroundings. And a lot of people think that all we need is medication. No, medication I'm sure can help. I'm not discounting that. But holistic health is not something that's non-traditional. If anything, it's going back to the roots of how medicine really began. The question is, what really was medicine, right? What really is healing? And the fact that this hospital, there are no records that anyone ever died, it just goes to show that love, rest, nature, finding time for yourself, being surrounded by positive energy, by loving energy, heals more than medication, at least for me. Because the one thing that whenever we feel love, whenever we feel joy, we always feel like we can do anything. I mean, when a person is on their deathbed and you see those movies and they're waiting for that person to arrive because they want to say goodbye, they're fighting it. They're really fighting it. And what is that fight? It's love, right? It's that fight that they get to say goodbye. They get to give their loved one some closure, some way, somehow. And this is me saying to everyone that social media is an outlet for creativity. It's an outlet to express yourself, but it is not the source of happiness. It is not the source to feel better about yourself. If anything, I think a lot of these companies, they pride in us feeling worse about ourselves because of these sexy girls, because of these clothes that you can't afford, how these bloggers have all these amazing things, these amazing trips with these amazing hashtags and all these giveaways that you will never have access to. I will assure you that behind the camera, downstage where there's no lights, everybody is going through a struggle just like you. The only difference is how we express it. Are you angry? Are you resentful? Are you bitter? Or are you forgiving? Are you pacing yourself? Are you forgiving yourself that you're trying the best you can and you're just doing it one day at a time? So I'm sending you healing. I'm sending you love. And I'm sending you reassurance that you are not alone. Make your mental health your top priority, more than anything else. When this is good, so is everything else. So I'm Bianca Valerio. Come away with me with love and light. Check out BiancaValerio.com. Follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. And until then, bye guys.